Thank you very much, and good morning. I ask that you close your eyes this morning and take a journey with me. The first destination will be kindergarten. Can you remember that teacher? Can you see that face? How about the first grade? Can you remember that face? Can you remember the faces in the third and the fourth grade? Can you remember your teacher, a couple of teachers' faces from middle school? Our last destination will be high school. Do you remember some of those faces? The journey's over. Raise your hand if you could remember some of those faces. For me, all but one of those faces are gone now, but their memory lives on with our students. That is the impact of public education. The kindergartners who will begin school this fall will start their own journey. It is part of our responsibility to embrace their future, to impact those memories. I always become concerned when someone begins a conversation with, "When I was in school." We all know what follows. We've heard it all before. When I was in school, we didn't have computers. When I was in school, we didn't have buses. We walked to school. When I was in school, I only had one of those big chief tablets, not one of those fancy iPad things. I suppose I didn't date myself too badly, since big chief tablets span a period from 1947 to 2001. You should also appreciate the Missouri connection, since they were produced in St. Joseph for most of those years before being moved to Springfield. When I was in school, one of the most dreaded moments was being called to the blackboard in front of the class and given the chalk. That dreaded math problem today is answered immediately with a few keystrokes on a 50-cent calculator. Have you heard school should teach the basics? This usually means that the speaker wants to return to a time when in their perception things were better. What are the basics? This is a report card, a kindergarten report card from several years ago. Let's see, what were the basics? Works and plays happily with others, engages freely and thoughtfully in discussions, keeps pencils and other objects out of mouth, and ties shoes. You might notice here that I'm sure this child needed an IEP, because you might notice that it took over a half of a year to learn that last skill. The second half of the year was much harder. Reading readiness and writing first name. Compare that to a current progress report from the Grain Valley School District. Wow, counts to 100, algebraic thinking, geometry, teaching what some think may be basics do not prepare our students for their future. What will kindergartners' lives be like? I have no concept of what changes they will see in their lives. In fact, there are times when I'm not even sure I comprehend the changes that have occurred in Grain Valley the past 12 years. I do know that it is part of my responsibility to embrace the changes, innovations, and improvements needed to prepare them for their future. Our past is merely the foundation upon which they will build their future. It is my responsibility to set the expectations that our districts will prepare them to adjust to the changes in their lives. I believe that setting expectations is as much a part of board service as setting policy or strategic planning, but it is not enough to have expectations. We have to live them. If you spoke to Dr. Moss or a member of our administrative team about me, I would be proud if they told you that I was never satisfied. I believe in continuous improvement. There is always something more we can do. some program we can improve, or another way to engage our students. Winning an election did not make me an educator, or a board member even, except in name only. Becoming a board member is hard work. As board members, we must also continuously improve our abilities. We must seek knowledge on education issues and board service. We must work together to solve our common problems. And we must be strong advocates to those in Jefferson City and Washington who believe that winning an election made them educators. We all know that there are failures in public education, but there are also incredible success stories. We cannot find excellence by studying failure, nor should we be looking for excuses. Failure is an opportunity to improve. I am very proud of our district. I am also very aware that there are other districts that are more successful. There are districts that have successful programs that perhaps we could adapt to our district. There are always ways to improve by studying success. Our districts cannot achieve excellence without continuous improvement and raising our expectations. To reach excellence, our expectations cannot be average. While being rated above average may give us a warm, fuzzy feeling that it's not really a goal. We cannot reach excellence if mere proficiency is our goal. There is, after all, a higher achievement level, and if our expectations rise to that higher level, proficiency will follow. We cannot reach excellence without exceptional personnel. In our districts, we cannot expect exceptional teachers or administrators if our hiring and tenure decisions or our evaluations are based on minimum requirements. We also can never forget that the first and last district face a child sees is when the doors open on the big yellow bus. Exceptional personnel will meet our higher expectations. Those that are only looking for a job should be encouraged to look elsewhere. What really matters as board members, whether at the end of a meeting or at the end of our term, is the knowledge that all of our decisions and all of our discussions have always been in the best interest of all of our students. If we can go home knowing that we have had a small part in improving our district, we have embraced their future. In closing, this is a picture of the kindergarten class that was evaluated based on the earlier report card. Can you pick out the child that struggled with shoelaces? It's really not that hard. The teacher is the lady in the dark suit. Where would you put your problem child? That's right, that's him sitting right there in front of Mrs. Reeves. I'm happy to report that he is older now and that he still works and plays happily with others. I am also glad to report that he still engages freely and sometimes thoughtfully in discussions. But most important, he can still tie his shoes.